Good morning, just woke up early. Yeah, just listening to a Nietzsche podcast, um, where Nietzsche attacks consciousness or analyzes it in his reckless ways. He really is drilling deep through granite. But sometimes he finds traces of valuable, rare materials, such as gold, silver, or similar things. In that thing that human psychology, subconsciousness is. A lot of darkness, a lot of vanity, a lot of suffering. But we are not much worse than animals. And animals are just the will to live right. So it's not a bad message that I have for you or a negative image about what man is in this regard. No, I found a new edge and a new way to also help with the narcissistic and psychopathic predator. You know, yeah, narcissists, psychopaths are predatory parasites. Um, and the edge over them, I just gonna explain it. How do I start? Yeah, I just listened to this ideas of Nietzsche about consciousness, by the way, provided by Essential Salts. And this podcast is called, if you look on YouTube for consciousness, Nietzsche and Essential Salts, you'll find it. And it aligns with with a thought that I had years ago. And I found it very interesting that there are these Neanderthalers. I don't know how to exactly say it in English. Neanderthaler, whom I don't know. These are these human beings from prehistoric times. They were, according to modern research, not stupid. They were more intelligent, potentially more intelligent than Homo sapiens. The Homo neanderthalensis was potentially more intelligent than we were and stronger, so more capable physically and mentally. But they have been absorbed by Homo sapiens. We are special in some way. What is it that this funny, weak, narcissistic monkey, because this is what we are compared to any other ape, animal, or primate. We are narcissistic monkeys. Okay, that's really the nature of man. Um, and we got very quick ahead of everything. Okay, it's not that it just started 1,000 or 2,000 years ago. No, as soon as the first human beings, probably 100,000 years ago, or maybe between 70,000 or 100,000 years ago, appeared, they immediately impacted the environment in extreme ways. So quickly, all the huge other animal forms disappeared quickly, like mammoth. So the best um, sources of hunting supply have immediately been occupied and also impacted, depleted by humans. So we are dominant. And we also burnt down forests and shaped the environment quickly, stuff like that. Okay? Now, what I found very interesting is I was thinking about how did they win? How did they defeat or submit or absorb the more intelligent and stronger Neanderthaler? And the answer is the Neanderthaler does not have that bone in his tongue that they need to speak to create a complicated language like we have, elaborate language. So the humans have simply teamed up. Like, this is how we win. In packs, in groups, we make strategies, we are cunning. Cunning is a virtue, was a virtue with the Vikings, with the Greek. So when you have a cunning war tactic and you win through cunning, this is what human beings have done forever. And this can be covertly and whatever, it doesn't matter. It's about winning, and the edge has always been the communication, and for the communication, consciousness is necessary. This is what Nietzsche gave me this background. So I already had the thought of that it's not about the strongest, intelligent, most capable individual. It's that when we look at this, the development of consciousness and language has played is explaining everything about humans. It explains why we have had this impact and this development, but it's also the same thing that we have to use against narcissistic and psychopathic abuse, while narcissists and psychopaths are also Homo sapiens, and they can also use education and intelligence and communication, but it's fake. So it's not real communication, okay, when you analyze it. For different reasons. So psychopaths are different than narcissists. We know this. Psychopath has reality testing and no introject or object constancy, which means they have no meaningful relationship to people, but they fake relationships. But it gives them an edge in using people in a Machiavellian way, right? Machiavellistic, utilitarian way, because it doesn't matter to them. It's instruments and obstacles. While the narcissist really believes in his narrations and shared fantasy because he has introject constancy only. He knows only introjects. He lives in his self-absorbed mind, and there is nothing beside that. Yet there are similarities in the effects of their abuse and in the predatory and parasitic behavior, while I would say the psychopath is naturally more seen or perceived as the predator, while the narcissist is rather parasitic, but both the narcissist has predatory instincts and the psychopath has parasitic ways as well, because both these traits and behavioral patterns to extract supply and make a living um, require the absence of a moral core and real empathy in a compassionate sense, right? So, why am I telling this on my channel? Because I think that the edge that we have against predators and parasites is consciousness still, and communication, and the ability to really communicate, to but we also need the ability to vocalize and to articulate ourselves. And this is the weapon that we use against them, even though they use it against us, but in a reduced and fake way that can be analyzed and, let's say, exposed as fake. So communication with a psychopath goes one way, their way, or no way. And they might send you emails to get their goals, but not answer yours and block yours. So they are defiant. And all their communication works this way, even when they talk to you. It's always a strategic pursuit of goals, of because the psychopath is not absorbed in the same shared fantasy as the narcissist, with an introject, with a relationship to human beings. So the narcissist is dependent of attention and is like a dog in a way of belonging to a pack, while the psychopath is only in the same way invested in her goals. Okay, goals. It's goal driven. They are in love with their goals. And yeah, they pursue them. And this is the way they communicate as well. So when you analyze this, you can find it out. You can expose this and show it. So the truth about the way they communicate, the truth about the way they make a living, the truth about how they then try to moralize or explain or justify their behavior in different ways can all be analyzed and will always show the same pattern. And it's fake. So it resembles something like consciousness. It resembles something like compassion. It resembles something like, yeah, it's to moralize and justify that it is benevolent, that it is the only possible thing, that there was no other way to do it. It might have components of savior complex, somebody saved someone, and so on and so on. While the truth is that this is a facade and a fake. It's basically fake. So I believe and I feel in a way that true consciousness with coming, and this sounds cheesy, but with a clean heart and clean intentions in a naive way, and the ability to truly communicate in a way that you are open for all forms of outcomes. This is the only way of real communication, and they are not capable of doing this. They are not doing this. Yeah, in other words, we can learn from the fact that Neanderthaler was more intelligent, stronger, more capable, not as narcissistic as human beings, but the human has absorbed them and defeated them. So we learn that consciousness and language was decisive, and that we have to be very aware of our narcissistic nature and integrate it and control it instead of being controlled by it. Yeah, and also we can learn that this is the weapon that gives us the edge over any has always given us the edge over any predator or parasite. It's education, understanding, intelligence, but in the first place, communication and sociality. That is something. It's the hardest thing to fake for them. And they can do it to a certain degree as camouflage, but real recognize real. So we need a strong community of individuated people who can see nuances and know what compassion, what love, what communication even is, and can see through people that create narrations based on a splitting mechanism of moralizing and idealizing and devaluing. Yeah, we need people who can see, who can see.